Good afternoon. Today we are back at Turkey Run State Park working on our 5 mile challenge. Today we are covering the 140 steps. So who cares about the 140 steps? It's just 140 steps, right? So the only thing that matters if we decide that 140 steps is a lot is how it compares overall to the number of steps in the park. So today it is Saturday, February 21st. Happy birthday to my brother. And I am counting all the stair steps, both up and down, on the 5 mile challenge so that we know how the 140 steps compares. So this is where Trail 5 and Trail 9 converge. And there's some of these steps are quite sketchy. There's been a couple of them get loose in the past, and I've reported them to the Nature Center, and they're all pretty solid. But there are some of the stone steps that are missing, and makes for a big step. Okay, this is not a wheelchair-friendly trail, obviously. So who built these stone steps? The wood steps that we can see ahead of us, obviously, well, I say obviously, maybe it's not obvious, came later. But a lot of this is stone steps, and they're kind of falling apart. Am I going to go back? No. But down at the bottom, I'll kind of turn around and go back. And although I didn't read anything that gives me the absolute answer of who built these steps. My guess was it was the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, built these steps in late 30s, early 40s. I know the CCC had a lot to do with state park development in the early days. If you go to Brown County, sorry, couldn't remember which park I was talking about. If you go to Brown County in the trail map description, they talk about some of the sites you can see that is built by the CCC. So, so that's my guess. Now, I told you that we're counting steps, right? And I think somewhere up here I get a nasty noise, but if I just shut my mouth up, you might be able to hear my clicker clicking because um, even though it's easy enough to just go 1, 2, 3, 4, it's hard to remember to do that. And I'm sure there's a cell phone app somewhere that could do that for me, but I'm not looking at just every step I take. I'm only looking at counting the stair steps. So old school is best. So there we go. We can see a little bit up. And I think, did we just reach the bottom? Yeah, we just reached the bottom of the 140 steps. And we're coming up to where we're going to meet Trail 3. So we're going to walk through here. This tree came down last year. It's kind of a hassle to get across. It's a little too high to be comfortable, but not quite high enough to go under it. But here's some more steps, which I am counting. And just because knowing the overall steps isn't all that important, I came back the very next week on the 28th of February and hiked the 5 mile challenge the opposite direction and counted only the up steps because I wanted to see if going down the 140 steps is overall more beneficial. If I get fewer up steps while going down the 140 steps than if I came up them, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know if it does. There is the famous ladders of Trail 3. We are not going down them. We will be going up the one that you can see in front of us. And I probably walk down here a little bit to see what's going on. If these little cutouts that we're about to go down don't count as steps for this part because it's not part of the official 5 mile challenge. So if it's not part of the official 5 mile challenge, I did not count it. So we have to talk about what I consider a stair step if we're going to count these things, because if you go out here and count these steps, then you might get a different total than I did, because I use my, ooh, that sounded funny. I use my own definition of what a step is. This is a ladder. It is not stairs. So I did not count this. Man, perfect timing to that segue. So let me go find some pictures of what I consider stairs, and we'll talk about that. And I think when I get up to the top of here, I take a look and see how many stairs I've gone up and down since I got here, and you'll see my little clicker. I'm sure you're very familiar with this. There you go. All right, let's go look at what is considered a stair. So first one, obviously, it's stairs. I have 3 stairs in that inset picture. So that is what I consider a stair. You might disagree with me on this, but I consider these stairs because it's a man-made barrier that has something a little lower on one side. That's a stair to me, so I count them. If you look at this one, there's a jumble of rocks, but then there's some carved stairs into the stone. I count the carved steps because they were made by people. This one, not a stair. This is just a couple of roots that have grown across the trail, or the trail has grown over these roots. Those are natural. I don't consider them steps, so I don't count them. Last one, well, this one's a quiz. So is this stairs or not stairs? So there are stair-looking things, but I could avoid the stairs. So even if I didn't walk on the stairs, I consider those stairs, and I counted them. There are some parts on this trail where you cannot walk on the stairs because the stairs are just completely demolished, but we count them anyway. Normally through this section I would have just stayed low and gone through the center, but you can see there's a bit of water in there, and I didn't feel like getting my feet wet, and I got my hands full. Man, I sound like such a wimp. That's okay, I can deal with it. So this is kind of a nice part. There's not usually a ton of trash here, although I do find it sometimes. I think I find a couple of pieces up here. We'll see. But anyway, so I'm busy counting these steps, and what I came up with was 1,352. I had to go back and look at my clicker, so I'm cheating. Yes, 1,352 was the overall steps, stair steps. I told my brother about this, and he says it's only 1,300 steps. No, it's different. It's the stairs. And so 1,352 of my steps, what I define as a step for the 5-mile challenge. And then on the 28th, I came back and did this the opposite direction and only counted the up steps. So what I came up with was 661. So it's actually fewer overall steps if you go up the 140 steps, okay? Not many less, but it is still fewer steps overall to go up the 140 steps. It's picking nits, I know. And I think I bumped that camera back there because I saw something and I thought it was a person out of the corner of my eye, and I don't think you could see anything on the video, but I saw it, and it was there was a big old deer, probably white-tailed deer, which I come from southern Arizona, and our deer, we had mule deer, and they were quite a bit smaller than the white-tailed deer here in the Midwest. And so, oh, look at that. I got 2 pieces. After I just said there's not usually much here, I come up with 2. And so as we come up here, I'm probably going to stand here for a second as I try and see this deer if he's still around. Not sure if I see where I finish up here yet. Oh yeah, there's the steps. And so I'll sit there and watch. And I can see him. It's really hard. You gotta, I guess I could zoom in, but you gotta do some of the work yourself. And he's going up that hill. So then I give up and I come to these stairs, and I'm just gonna be quiet because there's another one up at the top of these stairs. I was hoping he'd come down. And then I could hear some guy, I thought it was a couple of guys, having a loud conversation.
I can hear
And
people. I'm not
turns out
sure
it
if
was
that sound
just
would
one
be people
guy.
coming
I
down
don't
this
know
way.
who he was talking to that loud. But you can see him up at the top of the stairs. He's a deer, so he's pretty well camouflaged. But anyway, that
Okay,
is
feeling it.
probably pretty close to being it. So this is what I picked up on the 28th, which was last weekend. And you can see I found a hat that I thought was going to be a Carhartt hat. It's not Carhartt. I found a shoe, well, a flip flop, still a shoe, and I found I call it a pull tab. Ring tab, pull tab. Flip top is the new cans where the tab doesn't pull away. So, when's the last time you saw a pull tab? It's been decades. So, that's been sitting out there forever. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. I had a little bit of fun with this one, counting steps and being an idiot and all that, making my definitions of what a step is. So I think next time we're going to do the ice box, and it might be a combination. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for coming along. I just want to say, hey, I am up to, I think I saw 10 subscribers. I'm in double digits. I never thought that would happen. I do this just because it's fun for me. And so I appreciate everyone who watches these videos. Thank you. Hey, and as a short coda, last week while I was out, I saw wildlife or flowers, plants starting to pop back up. So we are getting close to springtime. Keep your head up.